why, because they don't have anybody else, and that's why they're picking where they're picking, and then everyone else is trying to find the next Patrick Mahomes, but how do you sit him for that time? It's fascinating to watch. Mel, I realize you made an argument for why you've ranked quarterbacks where you've got them earlier, but what would be your argument to the Commanders if you were making a case for Drake Maye?
Talent and potential. I mean, he's 21 years of age. He's shown flashes of brilliance at North Carolina. There's no question about that. Going into the year, I thought maybe he could challenge Caleb Williams to be the #1 pick overall. He got off to a decent start, didn't have Tez Walker, and then when Tez Walker was back in there or got into the games, he was off his game. And it was like I say, it was precise passing, throws that should be on target weren't, made the receiver work for it, and just like I say, just wasn't bringing his A game. And that was against NC State. There were some plays against Miami, Clemson. You can pick apart that, and Virginia, as I said. So he needs to sit, watch, and learn, I believe, for a year. At the Dano's point, I think Drake Maye, they tighten up that delivery a bit as well. All of a sudden, we saw even Justin Herbert, even at Oregon, wasn't perfect, but the talent was there. If you have that kind of ability, and you have the want to and the desire to be the first one in and the last one out, and Drake Maye has that, then you have a lot to work with. It's right now, Jayden is just right now a better quarterback than Drake Maye. Jayden is ready. Drake Maye needs some time, but in the end, 3 years down the road, we'd be looking at Drake Maye and say, hey, what a quarterback he is.
Yeah.
I mean, arm talent, the athleticism, the size, Mel laid it all out. I think I want to make a quick point in Maye's favor that comes off of our discussion at the top of the show about Zach Wilson, his lack of success in the NFL, because people might be hearing us talk about Drake and his big arm and think, well, okay, people said that about Zach Wilson, the infamous pro day throw, and obviously the evaluators were very wrong about him. Of course, the situation impacted him as well. I will say this, Zach Wilson at BYU was barely pressured. In fact, this was a major concern of mine watching his college tape as he played behind like a brick wall against inferior competition. We didn't see him forced to create. He was so rarely put through adversity. Drake Maye this year was under pressure a great deal. And that's something that really jumped out to me watching this season, especially compared to last season. And I'm not saying that necessarily writes off the mechanical issues or it's an excuse for everything, but he is not the same type of prospect because of his circumstances at UNC, which even with Tez Walker back, I would still put behind the other quarterbacks in this class.
It's fascinating. You can see how difficult it could be for some of these teams to make these choices, and they're looking to reset franchises in some cases. We're just 3 days away from finding out what happens.